Today's May 30th, 31st. Yeah, May 31st. This is episode 40. Episode 40. Carter's doing some sanding for me. We got started without videoing first. He also cleaned. We were going to remove all of this black bed liner, but I found when he first started doing it that we're actually in good shape. This is the body color here, so I just had him kind of clean it. We'll blow it out and then clean it with a, I don't know, probably a acetone or something like that. Something maybe milder than that, just to make sure there's no dust or anything in it. And then, we'll be ready for that coat. He sanded the inner wheelhouses, or actually this one. So we've got that scuffed up. He's gonna do this other one for me. What I'm doing right now is moving the brackets that hold the tailgate. Instead of creating some monstrous spacer in there, I just cut the welds. Makes a lot more sense, right? The other one was already cut off, so I got it, and I just prepped the area to get ready to weld it. It'll be slightly lower than it was before. But you know what? I think that the fender welds are both in a I don't know, I could say better position, but in my estimation, they are in that they're flush down with the bottom of the floor, and I got good welds across there. So, yeah, that's what we're working on now. Right? Yep. All right, here we go. All right, me and Carter just got busy working and stuff and didn't do a whole lot of recording today, but I was going to go over kind of what we got done. He pretty much scuff sanded the window frame, the cowl area, took the cowl off there. That's going to be a stainless piece, which that's right over here. I'm going to go ahead and sand it and paint it just because, but that'll be stainless, as well as the hinges that'll go here, and then the other hardware and stuff. About a kit made by Crown through Quadratech, so that'll all be stainless, and it will match the stainless front bumper and the stainless rear bumperettes, they call them. So anyway, he sanded the cowl for me, scuff sanded the window frame. I'm probably going to do some, well, obviously some additional sanding, because there's still some shiny paint. We got to get that down to where it's all scuffed, so it has a good adhesion factor to it when I go to prime and so forth. I had to run out and get some weld through primer for some last minute stuff I needed to do, and that is to weld these. I had to put some weld through primer mainly on the bare metal that's not going to be exposed once I weld it in place. But those are the brackets that are going to be welded in place there-ish on both sides, and that's what holds the cable on the tailgate. So that'll be welded in place tomorrow. What I also did was I welded some holes shut that were there from the diamond plate from previous videos. You might recall where I talked about how this panel was not made with a radius on the bottom edge, like the other side is, which is factory. So I had to cut the piece off the factory panel and spot weld it in. But there were some holes down here at the bottom that held the diamond plate on that I had to put some weld in to close those up, as well as some back here. And so what I did is I closed those up. Took a little while. Used my burnt copper backer. A lot there, and then I put over the ones that I didn't feel, I felt like the metal got too thin. It was kind of thin there, and down here I put some fiberglass cloth and resin, and I went ahead and decided, again an executive decision here, to close off the gap here at the top, because that seam where I had to tack weld right there in order to keep those two panels together, because they didn't give much of a lip on the back side of this panel to really do anything with. You can't see that, I don't think. Maybe you can. The factory panel has more of a flange on it than that handmade. I won't call it a piece of junk because it's decent, but it's not as nice as the other one. But it'll work, like I said. Anyhow, rambling here. So I made an executive decision to go ahead and cover over the weld seam there, which covers over this seam right here. And then the same at the bottom, so that this portion of the gap, the body gap, will still be exposed. It just won't be at the very top and at the very bottom. But I feel like that's the best thing to do for strength and rigidity. So to try to match that same idea, I went ahead and did that over here as well. So that's a fiberglass cloth and resin. So again, the gap down the side will be there. It just won't be at the very top. But you know, I could close all of that in and it would look like a seamless panel, but I don't want to go that far. Yeah, so that's where I'm stopping for today. And tomorrow I will, like I said, weld those brackets up for the tailgate. I'll put a coat of short strand fiberglass over this and start smoothing it, being careful not to cover these holes because that's for the tail light. Carter will continue to sand for me. He also sanded this, actually. Prep that for primer, as well as this inner fender well. I'll have him do that tomorrow. He'll be working with me again. So, and then finishing up the window frame. We decided just to clean, as mentioned earlier, just to clean this area here, because it seems like it's actually in pretty good shape. No rust, as you can see there. And I already got good metal flapped back on the edges when I did that weld up there, so I know that's pretty solid now. So that's what we've got at this point. So tomorrow we'll continue on those odds and ends and tie that up, and then we'll start looking at things for getting things ready for a coat of primer, 2K primer here before too long. Probably do some little skim coating here and there first, where I know it's going to need it. For instance, right here, that's going to need a skim coat of short strand. Might do a little bit more finessing down there before I put primer on it. But we're close. We're getting very close. So, and then probably have Coleman sand that roll bar for me. I just put that in there because I wanted to make sure that my holes align and everything. Of course, it's not sitting where it's supposed to now, but I thought there might be an issue back there where it seemed like the inner fender well might be a little low. Turns out it's not an issue at all. Everything's lining up good. So yeah, get that sanded and get it ready to be primed. And then the hood and the doors, here's one door. This was in a previous video. Again, I believe this one's ready, other than I got to get some primer, the self-etching primer on the bare metal here, because you can't put regular primer over that. It won't stick properly. So you put the self-etching, it etches itself into the panel. Then you can put regular primer over it. So we'll have to get that door taped off. I'm going to do the same thing with the short strand on the other one, you know, because it's got the same pitting areas that were here on this one, that I rust reformed and then put the short strand on it. All right, so that's it for today, and we'll catch you guys in episode 41. Take care.